Now, the dust is settled on America's presidential elections, but now comes the question on the legal drama as the country gears up for its first president convicted in a criminal case. Before election fever kicked in, a slew of legal cases were making headlines. Donald Trump had 4 criminal cases stacked against him. In the hush money case, the jury unanimously handed him a guilty verdict. But the sentencing is pending after the judge agreed to the appeal of postponing the sentencing until after the election. As of now, the date is set at November 26th. But Trump's victory raises the question on presidential immunity again. A 2000 policy of the Justice Department says, and I'm quoting from it, the indictment or criminal prosecution of a sitting president would unconstitutionally undermine the capacity of the executive branch to perform its constitutionally assigned functions. The future of Trump's criminal trials is bleak since the Constitution allows for the president to pardon himself. Should that not happen, it begs the question, will the cases be put on hold until Donald Trump serves his term in office? The blue camp is also not free of legal drama. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, faces a potentially long prison term after being convicted of 3 felony charges in the gun trial. Will Joe Biden use his period to pardon his son before Trump assumes office in January next year? That's something we'll have to wait and watch. To get us in perspective, we are being joined by Gene Valentino, a GOP strategist and commentator, is joining us live on this broadcast from Florida. Mr. Valentino, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
There's so much to unpack, as I keep saying, but let's first look at this. If 2016 was about Donald Trump for the rich, 2024 seems to be about Donald Trump for the working class. Could you bridge that for us?
Well, yeah, I can bridge it. He's got a job he took with McDonald's selling fries on one day, and then of working the garbage truck on a different day is the exact bridge that was always there. As Rudyard Kipling, the poet, said, he knew how to walk with kings yet not lose the common touch. That's always been Donald Trump. And he is a man with integrity that turned out to be a man of action. In fact, his action is better than his words. And what we have seen the last few days in an election process is that the American people, the legal voters, have stepped up to distinguish between rhetoric and angst and vitriol, and they want to bring back results. So no matter what the American person felt about Donald Trump, the person, they voted him in, Donald Trump, the man of action. That's what you saw.
Right, and on those lines only, this election also seems to be a testament that if bread and butter aren't sorted, then other issues like democracy or reproductive rights, everything takes a backseat.
Well, that's exactly correct. You know, the reproductive right issue is an issue, but compared to what? How about survival? How about a job? How about a good paycheck? How about its stimulus in an economy, reduction of debt, and protection of the border? These issues became paramount. They became the priority over these inflammatory rights issues that the leftist, inflammatory left was promoting. No, we have, and then you see something more interesting happening. It's not as much about Donald Trump as it is now about the people around Donald Trump. And keep an eye on it going forward. Compare the circle of people around Donald Trump that were working against him then in 2016 to 2020. Compare it going forward in the future to the circle of people he chooses around him. You mentioned it earlier, Doug Burgum, an economic brilliant guy, a governor in North Dakota, an economist as well, an entrepreneur. He's got a man who knows how to make money and bring business to the table. It's likely he'll be on Donald Trump's cabinet. How about an Elon Musk? If he doesn't serve on Donald Trump's cabinet, he's going in there to to do an enema on the $2 trillion he promises to remove, trillion with a T. And then you have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's going to reach out and try to serve in one capacity or another in economic development, transportation, housing. And then you've got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a Democrat who now leaves the Democrat Party. For what reason? Because he was denied the right to work within the primary process by that select few obfuscating his ability to be a legitimate candidate. No, Donald Trump has proven now to be a collaborator and a consensus builder, not a vitriolic, contentious Hitler or racist. He is now a collaborator. And people got tired of the rhetoric, of the words, especially from the media, working against Donald Trump, and are now seeing and saw locally here in the States the real Donald Trump stepping up. We're going to see a major change, which will not only right the ship, as we say, here in America, but throughout the world. There'll be so much benefit flowing elsewhere.
Mr. Valentino, while we talk about what led to Donald Trump's winning, of course, the societal factors that you correctly mentioned, one also has to talk about those Americans who did not vote for him. There are three things that I picked on in the last 24 hours that I found interesting. There were anti-Trump protesters in Chicago that broke out right after the results. Black American women, especially in North Carolina, are scared for their reproductive rights. LGBTQ plus community in Ohio don't know what to make of their future rights. What happens to them?
Well, they lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. It's turned out that this progressive left initiative is falling now on deaf ears. They had their chance, but in this election, we saw that Donald Trump won with the 18 to 25-year-old vote. The very left youth, younger generation coming out of the universities got behind Donald Trump as well. So if that was not reported in the news the way it should have been, we have done nothing but inspire social media and all these other streaming services to take our market share away from us and compete against us in the messaging to the world. That's what I saw happen. The world is transforming, and the world is reaching out for a true solutions of a quality lifestyle and rights on the social side, and economic opportunity on the business side. They see a pathway with Donald Trump for that. They told us in this election, they did not see a pathway for that with the Democrat side.
All right. Very quickly, we have been covering a lot of the legal cases against Donald Trump, and one question, a recurring question rather, we keep getting from our viewers is that could we reach a point where Donald Trump could be asked to step down as the president because of his legal cases?
I think the people who brought those legal cases will be stepping down first, which is exactly the problem with the press internationally. They're not seeing the same story we're seeing locally. This was a conspiracy, a deep state plot to remove Donald Trump. How do you do it? You do it through the media, and you do it through the Justice Department. It was William Barr, the former Attorney General before Merrick Garland, that just said on the news this morning that the Justice Department needs to throw all these charges out against Donald Trump. But the meeting that's going to happen later today, which is the big story, is will Donald Trump hear from Joe Biden in the White House? Joe Biden invited Donald Trump into the White House. And when he gets in there, will Biden be talking about a pardon for his son and in return cooperating with a total pardon or dishonoring or disposing of the charges against Donald Trump? It's the reckless side of politics that I hate, but it is wrong for us to assume that getting rid of Donald Trump charges should be looked at in the same light as the Hunter Biden crime family which earned over $20 million.
But just to quickly interject, Joe Biden has already said that he will not pardon his son. He has gone on record to say that. We haven't heard anything like that from Donald Trump.
Okay, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, but I don't believe it.
All right.
What father, what man will not pardon his son, even if the charges against the son are so bad? Well, we will know in the next few months.
Absolutely.
I hope you're right, but I suspect Joe Biden will pardon his son.
All right, Mr. Valentino, I'm completely out of time, but good to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on this broadcast.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.